Hello everyone, in today's video I'm replacing the waste in my Belfast sink. My old sink waste was very corroded and I am doing a bit of a kitchen renovation at the moment, so it was time to replace it. My sink has an overflow, so the waste I have bought has this slot in the side. This is called a slotted waste and it lets the water flow down into the waste pipe. You just need to check if you have an overflow and buy the right one. I have linked to the slotted waste that I bought in the description box below. The waste comes with a rubber washer which sits above the sink, and below the sink there is supposed to be this thick rubber washer and a plastic back nut. I have a fairly old Belfast sink which has quite a large hole for the waste, and it's also not very even, so I bought a pack of these large poly washers from Screwfix which will work well to cover the hole properly underneath. I am also going to be using Plumber's Mate over the first washer and then under the poly washer underneath, and I'll show you that in a minute. So I've taken a blob of Plumber's Mate and rolled it into a sausage, and I'm just pressing it all over the rubber washer. So this will give a really good seal between like the plug and the ceramic sink. I will remove it. I know it looks like a lot, but I will remove any excess later on. So the next step is taking out the old waste. You can see that it's looking really dirty, so it's time to get rid of it and clean it all up. I'm also going to replace the bottle trap underneath, like for like, so it's all clean and new. I loosened off the large white connector and then I could just twist it off with my hand. I then used a Stanley knife to cut around the top of the nut and cut away any silicone. The back nut and the washer were so old and just covered in crud that I ended up cutting them off and then pulling them off with a pair of pliers. I was then able to give it all a really good clean. Now I was ready to fit the new waste. So you can see where the slot for the overflow is. So I've stuck a bit of masking tape at the bottom that aligns with the overflow to make sure that I fit it in the correct position. I then put the waste in place, and if you put a torch in the cupboard below, you can actually see the overflow fairly clearly and you can check it's in the right place. Now I am placing another sausage of Plumber's Mate around the top of the waste pipe. You may find, like I did, that the hole in the sink for the waste is not perfect, so it's important to make sure that it's completely covered. You can also use silicone for this step. I put the poly washer on next, pressing and pushing it into the Plumber's Mate to get a really good seal. Next, I put on the rubber washer that came with the waste, and then I screwed on the back nut. Now you can see in the video, hopefully, that there is a piece of masking tape. That's that piece of masking tape that I stuck on just to give me that indication of where the slot is. So I just took my pipe wrench and I'm tightening up the back nut, just making sure that the masking tape stays in the same position. If it does twist a bit, then you can just gently pull it back into position. Once it's all tightened up really well, you'll see that some of the Plumber's Mate will have squeezed out, so you can remove it now. So now that's all done, I had actually taken off the old connectors and the washers, and I have put new ones on. The trap was exactly the same type and size as the old one, so I just put it in and then tightened up the connectors, twisting them until they were just hand tight, and then I used my pipe wrench to tighten them further. So there we go. I'm really pleased that this job is all done. So nice and clean, and it looks new and just looks really clean and tidy. So now it's time to test it for leaks and tighten up those connectors a bit more if you need to. If this video helped you, then please leave me a thumbs up and a comment, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!